Hello lovely people, Alyssa here. Does your home have limited sunlight? Do you notice your plants growing skinny, weak stems or looking sickly where you place them? But you really want to plant in that particular spot? Chances are you need a low light or shade tolerant plant. This means plants that are less likely to show issues in poorer light conditions. Here are some great options at a range of difficulty levels you can try. Stromanthi Triostar. Starting off with a bang. Stromanthi Triostar has a gorgeous fuchsia paint-like texture on the underside and white-green patterns on top. They fold their leaves up at night, which leads many to call them prayer plants. Keep it moist and don't allow it to dry out, as it will get brown, crispy leaves. Consider filtered, distilled, or rainwater, as they are sensitive to chemicals or minerals in water. It tolerates low light conditions and provides a great pop of color. A gorgeous, I would even say sexy, and challenging but rewarding plant if it's your thing. Maranta leucanera. Similar in care to Stromanthi, this is another form of prayer plant. Striking, beautiful green patterns and red veins. Philodendron silver sword. It has lovely silvery green fleshy leaves. Philodendrons are naturally tolerant of lower light conditions. They are easygoing and do well if allowed to dry out between waterings. I water mine thoroughly once a week and they are potted in a well-draining aroid mix. For the silver sword, when overwatered, you may see some marks and blisters develop. But don't worry about these, as you can cut off the affected leaves and just be mindful of watering the next time. Philodendron micans. Micans, on the other hand, has deep green leaves with red stems and can develop a red rim around its leaves when given more light. Overall, philodendron are great plants for beginners or if you just want stress-free plant keeping. Sansevieria trifasciata. Also known as the snake plant, snake plants store water in their fleshy leaves and rhizomes and prefer to be kept on the dry side. Keep it in well-draining mix with plenty of grit. You hardly have to water. I've also found them pest resistant. I've had one come out fairly unaffected by mealybugs, while other plants in the same pot were being munched on. Today we're looking at the Laurentii variety with bright yellow variegation. One of the easiest plants I've ever kept, great if you want an almost zero maintenance plant. Dischidia ovata. Epiphytic and tolerant of low light, Dischidia generally prefers to dry out between waterings. I keep it in a well-draining mix and water only once a week. I've seen this growing on plain wood like an orchid, but you may need to water more often if it's mounted on wood. Your frequency will depend on your environment mix and other factors as usual. Mine blooms throughout the year with tiny clusters of waxy flowers. Epipremnum marble queen. Also known as the classic pothos or devil's ivy. It naturally grows beneath the canopy and is tolerant of low light conditions. It's not fussy about water. You can grow them in soil or in a vase of water. Today we're looking at the marble queen variety. Marble queens will turn more white in bright light or more green in lower light. This is a couple of years old, but I keep it small by cutting back repotting and giving cuttings to friends. I keep mine in well-draining mix and water thoroughly only once a week. Pothos is very hardy and you can't go wrong. Ray fern. Ferns are often found nestled up in the trees as epiphytes or on the ground for terrestrial species. They have a good tolerance for low light as well and like to be kept moist. For today, we have a ray fern. I find ferns need water 1 to 3 times a week depending on the type of fern, its potting mix and environment. They prefer mixes with less grit so it retains moisture for longer. They are thirsty and good if you like watering more often. Monstera deliciosa. Monstera can be found naturally climbing up trees below their canopies and is tolerant of low light. Not fussy about watering as well. I water mine once a week and keep it in a well-draining aroid mix. Again, I'll leave links down in the description to some helpful resources. Mine is only a juvenile without much fenestration, but is already a large showy size. good for filling in larger spaces, and so easy to care for. That rounds up our list. Remember, plants still need light to photosynthesize, and low light doesn't mean no light. While these are shade tolerant for their health in the long term, they should be placed where they can see the sun or at least receive artificial light. Also, while we talked about difficulty levels, this is based on my general experience and experience of people I know who have these plants. Yours may vary depending on your environment and plant care habits. Now, I hope this will help you find the right plant for your space. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up so we can reach more people. Subscribe and join the family if you'd like to see more. What are your favorite low-light plants? Feel free to share in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy planting! Micans, on the other hand, has deep green leaves with red stems and can develop a red frame. Sansevieria trifasciata. Sansevieria trifasciata. Sansevieria trifasciata.